Welcome to EcpPro training. In this video, we'll cover Contact Sync. When you're managing dozens of tenants, keeping PSA contacts up to date is time-consuming. New starters get missed, leavers stay active, and contact details drift out of date. Contact Sync solves this by automatically synchronizing Microsoft 365 user data into your connected PSA system, so your contact records stay accurate without manual upkeep. In this video, we'll cover 3 chapters: setting up Contact Sync, tracking and troubleshooting, and Per-Tenant configuration. Chapter 1. Setting up Contact Sync. To get started, navigate to MSP Settings, then Add-ons, and open your PSA add-on. Scroll down to the Contact Sync module section and toggle it on. You'll see a note that this is a preview feature. Now, navigate to MSP Settings, then Contact Sync Mapping. At the top is the bulk configuration card. There are 4 sync methods. Status is always on. It automatically syncs whether a user is active or inactive, and you can set the number of days until deactivation for inactive users. Create adds new contacts in your PSA, update fills in blank fields, and overwrite replaces existing data entirely, so use it carefully. For the user filter, all licensed users is a good default. Now you need to map each tenant to its matching PSA customer. This is what tells Contact Sync where to apply the sync methods and user filter you've just configured. Click Auto Map to match your tenants automatically. It analyzes tenant names and finds matching PSA customers, showing a confidence score for each suggestion. High confidence matches in green are very likely correct. Click Accept All High Confidence to apply the best matches, then click Apply Mappings to save them. For any tenants that didn't match, you can manually map them by selecting the drop-down and searching for the customer name in your PSA. With all tenants now mapped, apply the sync settings configured earlier by selecting Tenants using the checkboxes. Click Apply to Tenants. You can enable or disable individual tenants from the Contact Sync by selecting the enabled toggle switch to on or off. Contact Sync runs automatically once a day, but if you'd like to run a sync straight away, click Schedule Manual Sync, enter a notification email, and click Schedule Sync. The Contact Sync will be added to your action items, and you will be notified via email when the sync has been successfully completed. Chapter 2. Per-Tenant configuration. While the bulk mapping page applies settings across all tenants, you have additional settings that can be configured at a tenant level. From the bulk mapping page, select the 3 dots at the end of a specific tenant row. Select the Configure Settings menu item. The Tenant Contact Sync Settings page, again, allows you to set the PSA integration, as well as the customer that this tenant maps to in your PSA. You can also override and set your sync methods and filters on this page. The last section in the Tenant Configuration page is the User Field Mapping, showing exactly which Azure AD fields map to which PSA contact fields. Display name, email, phone number, job title, and department are all mapped automatically. Your PSA fields may vary from our ConnectWise example. The tenant-level user filter has some additional features not available at the bulk level mappings. From here, there are 3 options. All users syncs everyone in the tenant. All licensed users syncs only users with at least 1 license assigned, and selected licenses lets you pick exactly which license types to include for filtering. After choosing the specific licenses filter, you will have the option of configuring your selected licenses. A dialog will open with 2 panels: unselected licenses on the left, selected on the right. Use the Quick Move buttons to select either all license types or paid only. You can also move individual licenses manually with the arrow buttons. Click Apply to save your selection. Only users with at least 1 selected license will be synchronized. Before syncing contacts, verify that your PSA API credentials have the right permissions. In the Tenant Integration panel, click Validate Permissions. The results table shows each permission tested, with a green pass for correctly configured permissions and a red fail where access is missing. The Details column tells you exactly what is needed. You can also validate permissions from the bulk mapping page. Select Tenants and click Validate Permissions to check them all at once. If any validation fails, update your PSA API member credentials with the required permissions, then run validation again to confirm the fix. The documentation link provides PSA-specific instructions for each permission. Chapter 3. Tracking and Troubleshooting. After your first sync completes, go to the bulk mapping page and select All Tracking to see every contact across all tenants, or use the three-dot menu on a tenant row to view just that tenant. The tracking grid shows each contact's name, email, user fields, whether or not they are active, only appear in your PSA, whether they are excluded from the sync, and a status chip. Filter your views by selecting the filter tabs at the top of the report. Created allows you to view new contacts from Azure AD that were added to your PSA. Filter on Updated to view users who had changes made in the last contact sync. Skipped shows contacts that have been excluded from the sync. If there are contacts you don't want to sync, select them and click Exclude Selected. Excluded contacts will show a skipped status on the next sync. When contacts aren't syncing correctly, filter users on Failed to see all contacts with errors. The most common error is when you have a duplicated contact with a matching email that already exists in your PSA. If you are experiencing mapping errors, ensure your PSA integration is configured correctly by checking your PSA validation in the tenant configuration screen from Chapter 2, and also verify the sync methods are properly selected for this tenant. That's everything you need to get started with Contact Sync in EcpPro. First, you set up the add-on and mapped your tenants, enabling bulk configuration and letting auto-mapping do the heavy lifting. Then, you configured individual tenants with license filters, field mapping, and sync permissions, giving you full control over what syncs and how. Finally, tracking and troubleshooting. Monitor sync results, filter errors, and resolve issues to keep everything running smoothly. Contact Sync is a preview feature, and the team will keep improving it based on your feedback. If you need help, reach out to support at EcpPro.com.